later, they came back from putting gas in the car. My wife walks in the front door, hands me a video camera, and says, "You gotta see this." And I'm like, "What?" She goes, "No, trust me, you're gonna have new material for your show." So I rewound it, hit play, and sure enough, there's my daughter standing next to her car. She has the door open on the gas tank, and she's standing there doing this. "Mom, it won't open." Now, the first indication that my wife can be a very cruel woman when she wants to be is what she did to help the child. Nothing. She just stood there videotaping. Then you hear my wife say, "Honey, remember, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey." And the 16-year-old girl goes, "Whatever." Camera starts shaking. Then you hear my wife say, "Honey, turn it counterclockwise." My daughter looked at her watch. And I'm the father standing there watching the tape going, "Oh, no, no, no." Because I realized she was looking at her watch 2 or 3 seconds too long before she realized she was gazing at a digital watch. To answer your question, yes, she's blonde. But that's a good thing, because if she wasn't, that would mean she was just dumb. Okay. So she finally figures out, okay, turn it to the left, pulls the cap off, and of course we have those, 4, 5, 6-inch plastic leashes on a gas cap. I look at those and I go, who the hell are these for? Obviously, at some point along the way, the car manufacturers had a meeting and they went, "Okay, there's too many idiots that don't know what to do with the gas caps. We gotta put the frickin' leash on them." Were there people at gas stations going, "Oh, no, no." And then to add insult to injury, they put that little rack thing inside the door. And these same people are supposed to know, "Oh, you must take the gas cap and hang it there. That's very organized. Thank you." No, those people are going, "Ah." Okay, so now she turns around, she gets the nozzle out of the gas pump. All right, now, we all know that in the car there's a hole. And you have the nozzle. But there's also the sleeve that goes over the nozzle, has a little spring on it. That, of course, goes over the hole to keep the fumes from coming when you're filling up. You would think that it's somewhere along the line, in the last, I don't know, maybe 6 months, she would have said to herself, "Oh, I'm gonna be driving soon. Maybe I should watch Mom and Dad and take notes to see how to fill up a car." No, you know why? Because for the last 5 years, she's been sitting in the back seat going. My parents are so stupid. LOL. Hey, here's the picture of my foot. She tried to cram the entire thing with the sleeve into the hole, just cramming it, crushing it, pushing it, and then she can't say, "Mom, it won't fit, it's the wrong one." Camera's shaking. And then she finally figures out, okay, it's got to hang right there. Okay, now, she didn't turn on the pump, she didn't swipe a credit card, she didn't go talk to the guy. She just stood there, apparently waiting for the magic gas to flow. And then she started doing this, realized nothing was going on. She was like, reaches over, squeezes the thing. Camera's shaking. Mom, it won't stay on. Clunk. Here's the second indication my wife can be cruel when she wants to be. She didn't tell the child what to do. She walked over to the car. You see the camera getting closer. You see her hand reach into the frame. What she did took about half a second. This is cruelty to children. She reaches in, squeezes the thing with her pinky, flips it shut like this to keep it squeezed, hand out of the frame. My daughter goes, Mom, how'd you do that?
I'm raising girls. It's all girls in my house, all girls. Whenever I say I'm raising girls, women always go, oh, it's gonna suck. Wait till they go through puberty, your life is over. Really? Like you want a boy going through puberty with what they do around the house? Where are all our tissues? Why are we going through so many tissues? Why do I only have one sock? Where are my socks? Some hairy golem crawling down the hallway, taking a shower for an hour and a half, coming out all sweaty. Ah! You can have it. I'll take a girl anytime. Love girls. But I know there's a limit. There's a limit to how much I can teach them. At a certain point, I got to just back off because I don't know it, and then my wife takes over. Because there's certain things that women know that you only learn from other women. You only share it with other women, and we don't really know it. It's like this weird martial art that makes you so strong and cunning. It's like this lady karate. Very devious. One of your master strokes is making us think that we're the powerful ones. I really thought it for years. Well, the whole game is set up that way, isn't it? I'll ask her on a date. I'll ask her to marry me. I'll give her my name. Oh. And women are very smart. They go along with it. Okay, maybe I'll hyphenate it, but all right. And then she does something one Sunday afternoon and you realize, oh my God, she could kill me in a second. So much more cunning. Women will get rid of a lifelong friend just from an eye roll at dinner. Did you see how that bitch looked at me? And she's gone. You'll never see her again. Gone, like old-time Russia. Out of the contacts, out of the picture frames, disappears. You know how scary that is to a man? To know that everyone in your life is on a giant roulette wheel of death? And that we're on there too, at 00, just going around? It's not gonna land on me, right? What are the odds? It's a terrifying concept to a man, because we never get rid of our friends, ever, ever. Right? You meet a guy in kindergarten, if he's your friend for life. He could be the biggest jackass on the planet, too. He could become an alcoholic, drug addict, rob a liquor store, go to jail, come out 10 years later, come to your house, pee in your pool, hit on your wife. You're like, that's done. He's crazy, right? But you gotta love him, you gotta. Look what he's doing in the mailbox. Hilarious, dude. And you think the closer you get to a woman, the safer you'll be, and you're wrong. You're in more danger. Because you're being manipulated in ways you don't even know. Think about it. Every guy who's married is fatter than when he started. Every one. You think that's a coincidence? You think men are just so overjoyed with matrimony that they're just walking around with chocolate sundaes? Wow! My life turned out so much better than I thought it would. No. The common denominator is that you're married to a woman. And when you marry a woman, you think she's gonna love you and care for you and cherish you, and you're wrong. Her first instinct is to keep you. She's a nester. The woman is a nester. She makes the nest, builds the nest, wants everyone in that nest all the time. And guys are always trying to leave the nest. Always, just to look for worms or do loop-de-loops. Sometimes check out another nest. Who's in that nest? I'm just looking. And women are aware of this and they want to prevent it from happening by feeding you all the time. Essentially making you too fat to fly. So if you ever try and leave, you land on the ground and waddle in circles like a fat duck. And then all the pretty birds look down. Oh, he's funny. I never have sex with him, but he's hilarious. But you should be more powerful. It makes perfect sense that women are strong because your lives are so much more difficult. You have so much more to deal with. It's amazing. You have a lot more to deal with. Just the makeup alone. Just this never-ending art project you're involved in. Carrying luggage around your entire lives.
Well, my Haley baby's 22 years old. She's got her degree from Oklahoma State University as well. Just like her mom and her sister. And she graduated last May, and she needs a job. Now, I got to get that kid off the payroll soon, man. Because it's going to be hard to marry that one off, because the guy's got to fall in love with her forehead. See, you're judging and you don't even know. She's probably the prettiest one out of the litter. She truly is. But we gave her a cell phone way too early, right? Her sister got one at 16. She got one on the same day at 13. As a daddy, I was opposed to it, and now I haven't seen two of her eyes since, y'all. They just been buried down in that phone. I figure the guy's got to walk into a bar and go, look at the forehead on that one. Dude, check out her thumbs. They're huge. And I bet they're fake. Pixar joke number 1 if you keep it up. And then my youngest daughter, that's my Audie Grace, y'all, and she is 12. I got them 31, 28, 26, 22, and 12. I had 4 that completed college and 1 that completed the 6th grade. You know what that's like? That's like running an entire marathon. You get to the finish line, somebody stretches out the yellow tape and then goes, dude, don't hit that, that ain't for you. You hop in the truck, we gonna take you back to the starting gate. We won't go back to the starting gate. Audie Grace is something. She was named class president last year, 6th grade class president. Yeah. The very first day in office, she erased all of our emails and built a wall between them and the 5th graders. Got the 4th grade to pay for it. Then she ran into a little scandal. She had kissed a boy in 2nd grade and been paying him off since. If you guys got cable, that joke would rock. Audie Grace is something. She's the only one I ever had to go to the schoolhouse over. I'm not saying my other 4 kids are perfect angels. I'm just saying they never got caught and got their daddy involved in the thing, right? 3rd grade, I get called to her classroom, walk into her little classroom, and her teacher looks at me and goes, do you realize your daughter is a class clown? I got a tear in my eye, y'all. Are you serious? The other 4 are really smart. Finally, one of them falling in her daddy's footsteps. Teacher didn't find anything funny about it. She said that young lady needs to take her education more seriously. I said, all right, back up, Lee Harvey. I'll talk to her. I'm not being overly critical, but if you're yelling at her like you are at me, somebody needs to work on their people skills. I got out in the hallway. Audie Grace had these crocodile tears in her eyes, and she's my favorite. By far, she is my favorite. I know you always wonder if your mom and daddy got a favorite. By far, they got a favorite. Yeah. And if you're wondering who it is, it ain't you. Because the favorite knows who the favorite is. That's right. All my kids know that kid's my favorite. I walked out in that hallway. She had them tears in her eyes. She said, you mad at me, Daddy? I said, no, girl, get in the truck. We going for ice cream. You hear me? Get in the truck. We got to the Ron's ice cream store by the house. She just licking on that ice cream. She said, you really ain't mad at me, Daddy? I said, no, you don't listen, old lady. You keep telling your jokes. You'll get you a good job working 30 minutes a night somewhere. You hear me, young? My two oldest kids get mad at me most of all, though. They really do. They're like, Daddy, you spoil her. You never spoiled us. I said, well, let's look at the facts. I had Audie Grace when I was 36 years old. I said, Brittany, I had you when I was 19. You two people ought to be happy you are alive. Especially Brittany. I left her on top of a car one time, y'all. Now, in my defense, she was 17 years old at the time, and I told her twice to get down. And the boy's always been my helper. Now he's a grown man, too, and I'm proud of the man that I raised. He's 6'3" now, and I'm proud of the man that he's become. And him and his wife are going to have a baby this fall. That's pretty cool, everybody. So, but when he was little, I used to call him my little shadow, you know, because I don't know if you have a son out there, daddies, but there's nothing better than a little shadow, especially when you're surrounded by so many females in that house. And everywhere I went, that boy went, right? Yeah, that's why he's my... And when me and my wife got married, we could barely afford this little old house, this little 2-bedroom bungalow, and I had to redo the whole thing, tore it down the studs myself, even redid the electricity in that house, and I had no idea what I was doing either. This is way back before Google, so it was trial and error at best. But there that shadow was, right behind his daddy. Yeah, I had on my tool belt working on the electricity. He had on his tool belt working on electricity. I had a little butt crack showing. He had a smaller butt crack showing. Working them tools, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Come on, boy, yeah. So, and he helped me with electricity, so the first 5 years of his life, he walked with a twitch, y'all. No, even now, you sneak up behind Jacob and flip on light, he'll pee a little bit. He will. He might not know the difference between red and blue, but he knows the difference between a 110 and a 220, I guarantee. Daddy, that 220 will take your shoes off. Parents don't raise kids like that anymore. My next door neighbor got a 3-year-old son. They went through the entire house, put little plastic caps on every one of the electrical sockets, because he stuck a penny in there, and we don't want him to do that again. I said, you got to see if he'll do it again. The boy does it 2 times. He's got a learning disability. He does it 3 times, you might have to send him to a special school. That boy does it 4 times, you have him grow up and run for Congress.